Hello,
Facebook and everywhere, and on Instagram. Yellow Tuxedo should be with us any second.
Imminently. Also, episode 4, we finally seem to have ours loosely lined up better than normal. So
yes, everyone's in shot quite nicely, so that works.
More importantly, I've just realised you're not coming out of our headphones. You are coming out of the computer. Hold on, there's me boasting about how slick we are, and we're not even vaguely lined up. There we go. Okay.
Oh, excellent. So and our camera wasn't slipping down or anything. That's so
because I put the stand back.
As in the puzzles. So we are live. Final one of the 4-week series. 4 weeks has gone fast, actually. July has flown by. And so today we're talking about getting your digital content strategy right, and all about like planning, considering your website and your social media and everything all in a joined up approach, and not just sort of going scattergun with what you're doing. And if this is the first time that you have joined us live, hello, we are Ready Steady Websites. They, whichever way I'm looking on the screen, are Yellow Tuxedo. I am Jude and this is Chris.
Hello.
And that's Emily and Alan, and it's quite obvious which way round they are with their names.
I have to say, it did take me a while to make sure I got your names right. So when I say a while, I mean like once, really, not longer than once.
My story.
Let's gloss over that. A terrible story.
So, Chris, what are we talking about today?
So getting your good digital content strategy right. So do you want to kick off, guys? Because I feel like this is your thing, really.
Yes, we are in there like swimwear. First up, though, we need to say hello to everyone watching. So if you're watching, please do say hello, type love and all that normal stuff. We've got a few on Instagram we can see. We've got Val's Design, Sarah, how are the alpacas? And for those watching Facebook, LinkedIn, please do say hello in the comments. Do you want to lead in?
Yeah, we chose this topic when we were planning this whole series out a few weeks ago. And we think it's so important to discuss it as almost like that final chapter of this series, because from a yellow tuxedo perspective, social media is super important. We get that. But actually, in that grand scheme of things, it only plays like a tiny part of that massive wedge of everything that we're discussing. In fact, social media is so important, but getting your content working everywhere you place it, be it on your website, be it with PR opportunities, be it on Google My Business, we mentioned that last week, super, super important, because that is a way that your potential audience can get that whole know, like, and trust feel about you, understand what you're talking about, and basically make sure you are the key person of influence in your industry. So we really thought it was important to talk about it today, because I think so many people get so, I suppose, blinkered by, I've got to create content and I've got to do social media posts 5 times a week, and where do I do it? What do I do? And it's really quite confusing. Both Ready Steady Websites and ourselves have always taken that more omni-channel approach. I can hear tapping. What's that? Are you tapping?
Sorry, that was me. I was trying to turn down the volume, and
it was in my ear, so it
can
just stay going.
An omni-channel approach to make sure that your content is actually working for you and actually helping to shape your wider strategy moving forward with your social media as well. A lot of the time, we kind of take that micro content strategy for social media, Instagram, Facebook, and do, I should take a picture of this phone. It's a lovely phone. And we get really, really overwhelmed by what we should post, when to post it, what the caption should be, and all that. When you reverse that a little bit and think about that wider picture, that macro content that we always bang on about, and Jude and Chris love as well, it makes your life so much easier. Starting with the big chunky pieces, your blog posts, videos, podcasts that you're creating, starting with and helping that to shape your wider content strategy. Now, Jude, Chris, you've got an example of that as well in terms of how you approach your marketing, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. So for us, each week, it all starts with our blog post and our weekly live. And then those two things are, sometimes they're linked, sometimes they are sort of looking at taking completely different perspectives on things or different subjects. And then everything comes out of that. So then our weekly email that goes out to our email list will focus around what we're talking about on the blog and what we're talking about on the live, and tell people where they can find those things and how they can get involved with the discussion on the live. And then our social media posts throughout the week will focus on those as well. So it might be that if we do a Facebook Live that goes down really well, then we'll be sharing it in other places. We will be doing posts on our social media and stories on our social media and things about our blog posts, so that we are sending people back to our website, which we have talked about so much during these 4 weeks.
Yes.
You want to keep that traffic going back to your website. And also, like we mentioned it before in the 4 weeks as well, that people are scared to create an email list because they don't think they've got any content sent out to it. But just writing a little paragraph about your blog and a little paragraph about your live or whatever else you've got going on, that's basically your weekly email sorted there. And you can chuck in a little bit of extra stuff, but it makes it easy if you've got those big bits of macro content.
You're so right. I was itching to get involved. I was trying my hardest to hold fire, and I was like, I don't want to interrupt, but itching. No, you're so right. And we were talking about this with our Digital Circus members this week, last week, whenever. Oh, it must have been last week. It's Monday. Because people look at everything as standalone. They look at LinkedIn. What's their engagement? They want to look at an email separate. They want to look at other social media platforms separate. Then they look at blog separate. When you wrap it all up under macro content to build your online ecosystem with your website at the middle of that, all of a sudden it becomes easier. It becomes so much easier to know what to talk about. And in one of our newsletters a couple of weeks ago, we didn't actually intend it to be this clickbaity, but it was people were messaging us going, hope you guys are okay. But we put a picture up like, woe is me. And the title was like struggling to think or something like that, or overwhelmed.
But we struggled to write our email.
We did, didn't we? That was the point. We struggled to write our email because we'd fallen off of thinking about it from a more macro content, omni-channel approach. So therefore, when it came to writing that particular newsletter, we looked at it as a standalone newsletter to write rather than talking about something else we were doing. And it was like, don't know what to write about. And, we were stumped. And so, but when you start thinking about it from you're talking about sharing your lives and your blogs and just leading with that larger piece of content, a live stream, a macro, a blog, a video, a podcast, all of a sudden, everything just starts to fit better with the website at the middle.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, if we didn't do those pieces of content, God, it would be so hard. It'd be like writing another blog post, essentially, if you're then going to write a newsletter as well. So yeah, it's definitely worth starting with that. And we were talking as well just before we came on about like some people feel that they can't talk about things over and over again. They kind of feel like, well, I've already I've got my blog and I've shared that once on social media and I can't keep banging on about it. I don't want to put it in my email as well and this, that and the other. But we were saying the other week as well that like you feel like you're talking about it yourself a lot, but not everyone's seeing it. And like with your Digital Circus launch, you felt like you were going at it like firing too much content out there. And at the end of your promotion, people were still going, oh, no, I didn't hear
My own mother did that. I was like, I put that whole page in, family, friends, can you share this out? And my mum was like, I was waiting for you to put stuff out, Emily. I didn't see anything to share.
We haven't seen anything.
I've been putting stuff out 3 times a day for the last 6 weeks.
We were bleeding from the eyeballs by how much we felt we were putting it out. We felt we were compromising our own personal kind of ethics at how much we put out. And people were going, no, we thought it was okay. We thought it was spot on. And we're like, oh my goodness, because we genuinely thought we were spamming, selling hard and all the rest of it, which is not what we want to do. We want a nice, warm ecosystem where people kind of explore when they're ready. And we genuinely felt we'd compromise that. But it's interesting you say that because going back to how many times, because like, look, most people we know seem to have somewhere between a few hundred and a couple of thousand followers on each platform, right? So you cross that between many platforms, multiply that by hours in the day, factor in the algorithm if you can be bothered to factor in the algorithm. We generally don't. And then tell me that posting it once is the right thing to do when you're trying to engage with as many people as possible. Posting the same thing in different ways, perhaps. But I think an element of repetition is actually okay, more than okay, not actually okay, So
yeah. I sometimes think, in this modern world in 2021 where social media, in the nicest possible, there's a lot of noise, isn't there? There's a lot of noise out there of people telling you this is best practice for this platform and that platform. People have created their own careers based on telling us what we should be doing on social media. Scale that back 10 years ago when social media wasn't even a thing. You know, the likes of, I don't know, Alan Sugar, who started on the fruit and veg stall back in London and doing his own thing. He managed to market his business and didn't start overthinking how he was talking, what his message was, what he should do.
And he probably definitely repeated his message on the market
Probably
stall.
did.
Come and buy your apples.
So
Come and buy your apples.
So what is it? Now we have this kind of Bird, I suppose Bird is a brilliant tool to use. That's a really clear. If you can get social media working for you, amazing, fantastic. But it's a burden for a lot of us because we start panicking that we're not talking about what's our tone of all the stuff that we know in our businesses. We run our businesses. That's easy for us. We are those people who know our businesses inside out. We are those people of influence. We are experts enough, all of those things. So when it comes to creating the content, we're just so shy about talking about it. I'm like, no, get it out there.
And you know, the other thing we all we're on a rant, world. We're on a rant. The other thing that people forget is, right? So this is our business it's not yellow, Emily. This is our business for the sake of this conversation, right? People choose to follow our business, how they see fit, right? Whether that be email distribution lists, social media, etc., etc. Okay, X amount are highly engaged, right? So when we post stuff out, they've chosen to follow us, so they can choose if it's too much. And if they're not buying from you, they're probably unlikely to buy from you. Okay, there's going to be a sliding scale on that one. Let's be realistic, but let them choose whether you're posting too much. Don't you decide, world, whether you think you're posting too much. Let your audience decide.
Yeah, and I think that's important. And I think as well, like using lots of different ways of saying the same thing as well is really good, because we've had like this week. I mean, I don't know, you could tell this story, Chris, because I feel like I'm doing all the talking.
What story, yeah.
We're sitting there, the email and the real story.
Yeah, so we're running like this kind of a soft launch at the moment, founders members launch for like a mentor membership. And obviously we like to try these different things when we try these things to see like open rates and that kind of stuff. I like looking at analytics and things and ConvertKit. So we went with quite a vague subject title, as in like it's happening and then the subscriber's first name, just because we wanted people to click into the email rather than just judge it based on the subject, which I think is a pretty good call. And actually looking at our open rates, actually it was a bit higher than the kind of usual, those kind of things.
I opened.
Oh, there we go. Alan opened it.
So I had one person who said, oh, I got your email and I've joined, but I didn't join because of your email, because I didn't like the email subject. So I actually deleted the email first time, because I get hundreds of emails like that, vague subject titles. But actually what I did is I saw Jude on a reel pointing at stuff.
Like you do on a reel.
Yeah, that sounds good.
This is my age. This is my sign. Didn't we do that on live stream 1 as well? Yeah.
So then they went back and they found the email, they undeleted it or whatever, took it out of their trash, and then they signed up for the membership. So it's interesting because things will hit differently with different people, and also the time of day that they sit and the platform that they're on. It's all kind of different mindsets, because emails are obviously very worky. I'm fed up with all that spam, delete. Whereas on Instagram they're looking through cool stuff or stuff that entertains them,
or me,
or Jude just pointing at stuff in the garden. And then they're in a better mindset. Maybe they were grumpy earlier on when they're checking all their emails and had a load of client stuff they didn't want to deal with. So it's interesting.
Yeah, so putting out the content with the same message in a different way, definitely.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's such a classic way. You're absolutely proving that how it's all linked and should not be seen as separate entity. Definitely so important.
Yeah, in terms of because we have a clear way we work with our social media strategy in terms of what our themes are. Do you guys work on a similar sort of thread to that?
Yeah, I will sort of be like, if we've got a certain challenge coming up, like if we've got a challenge coming up around membership sites, our blog posts sort of 2 or 3 weeks leading up to that will have a sort of membership slant to them. Therefore, also social media posts as well will. And we do have a rough plan.
It's the same with us. I always use the example, especially when we talk to our clients, about our launch of the Digital Circus. That was last June, and we are very fluid with our social media, and you'll see we don't have a very curated grid on Instagram. We don't really care if we're looking stupid. My hair's often very wet.
I know my hair looks terrible today. I thought I need a barber.
Because I genuinely think that what we've got to say is much more important than if I got my face on for that particular day, and I'm okay with that. That's kind of like, well,
that's our ego kicking in.
But when it came to the Digital Circus, we still had that kind of rough plan in place of how we wanted to be showing up and what we should be talking about. And again, to the point where when it came to launching in June last year, we weren't actually selling. We were just giving them, enabling them to buy from us. So in like the 8 weeks leading up to the digital circus, we thought about everything that membership would be involving, kind of those key messages. And we broke it down in like the 8-week plan beforehand. So that kind of gave us a focus for our social media. Like 1 week we did a lot on Google Analytics, and we put our macro content would be a blog or a video. And then everything around that would be that similar theme and similar vein. One of the weeks we approached social media was about accountability. We did a video on accountability, created that blog, we talked about that. But in terms of how we approach social media for that week, on the Monday, I put a post about what you're accountable for, what's your issue this week, what you're struggling with. And then within that, we had all the comments coming down below about what their problems were. So taking that as an opportunity there to be flexible and fluid with the social media aspect there, I went and contacted everyone who had commented on that particular thread. How you doing? What's up this week? I'm going to check up on you in the middle of the week. And basically it was like accountability partner for them from social media. The latter part of that week was about checking up on them. How have you been? What did you do? How did you focus? And it was about bringing everything together, not just about that massive piece of content, which is so key, but it made the micro posting and that kind of more colloquial stuff really simple to do, because you're focused about why you're on social media in the first place, and showing up doesn't become difficult because you know why you're there.
And it's that, for me, I always like the phrase, which is a bit ambiguous, like content begins content. If your content can create new content. And that's such a good example of that. People sometimes actually exactly like that forget to ask questions, because if you ask a question, you get an answer usually. And if you get answers, then you create more content from those answers. So, being someone, Laura Vows Design, I was going to say someone, I know exactly who it was. Laura Vows Design. Yes. She wrote #BeSocial on Instagram. And that's one of our big things. Just remember to chat and ask questions, and you will get content that is generated and created from that content.
Definitely. And I think that's one of the reasons not to be too precious over your Instagram grid as well, because when people, and I know we try, I say we, Chris doesn't do the Instagram bit, but I tried it for a while. I was like, yes, I want to get this all nice. And so we're going to have a quote on this day, and it'll be on that colour background, and we'll have this on this thing. But then you lose that opportunity to be flexible. Like if I was like, well, actually, what would follow on really nicely from this is another photo, but that would be next to a photo, and that would just ruin the balance. But it's like, but it doesn't matter. Because it's much more important to get that natural conversation.
It's an unnecessary stress for a small business owner.
I actually saw someone on a Facebook group the other day, questioning whether there had been an algorithm change on social media because her engagement was really low on her posts for Instagram for the last couple of weeks. And I went and looked at it. I didn't comment, it wasn't my place to say, but I looked at it and I could see. This is
our opinion. Isn't it?
I could see exactly why it had changed, because she'd gone from being informative, just snaps on the phone and talking and being really, really juicy content there, to then going to, and I'm changing, I've had a rebrand, redesign, and now I am this squared. She dropped off from that point because she'd lost the magic of everything that she was talking about, because she was so focused on going, but I've got a new brand and that's what I'm doing. And I'm not saying that's wrong, absolutely not at all. If that's what you want to do and you're still getting those results, fabulous, fill your boots. But for those who aren't that way inclined, I don't think you need to be as worried about it, because as long as your message is on point and what you've got to say is right, then it can't, it can't be wrong.
We have delved into this kind of Instagram world, haven't we, for a moment? But it is that sort of, the people, you see these people with 40,000 followers doing very well, and they have these lovely curated grids, and you think, if I replicate that, I'll get 40,000 followers. But no, it's the amount of effort they're putting into engaging and the content they're putting out. And as we always say to people, a good piece of content far outweighs pretty much anything. What time you post, who you tag, who you what branding colors you use. A quality piece of content will far outweigh any algorithmic issue. And so focus on good content, sharing your adventure, be social, #always.
There was a rumor I think it was last year, but apparently the grids were going to go to 4. And people were absolutely losing their stuff on Instagram, and it didn't happen, but I thought it was hilarious.
And that actually brings us back on track more than you realize, because you're so right. We don't own Instagram. We don't own Facebook. We don't own LinkedIn. We have no control over what they do. But what do we have an element of control over?
Our website, which is also that at unison.
So make your life easy, make your website work harder for you. Stop putting the emphasis on social media and actually getting people into your ecosystem with the website at the middle. And by, with that, everything else we've just said in the past 20 minutes, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, like all the social media and everything is great for driving people there. But I mean, that is why we always start with our blog. Our blog is the first piece of content that I create. Often I'll create it, 2-3 weeks in advance because it's easy to batch when I've got the time. And then when I haven't got the time, it's all there. And everything starts with our website, with our blog. And then, we're sending people there. I think that is so key. It is the one place that, you really do have control over the look and the feel and the content that's on there. So well done, Chris. That's very good pulling us back around then.
Yeah.
I have a side thought on this. So we all agree. I'm not about to challenge anything. But no, far from it. But sometimes I think an element is missing. I think businesses, and actually, if I'm being honest, we feel we may have done this in a previous kind of part of our career. Do we say career?
I don't know what you're about to say, so I can tell.
Sometimes you do this, you bring people into your website, you do all those things, the right things to do, everything we just talked about, but you sometimes businesses fail to give them an opportunity to spend money with you. So they come in through your social media and they follow this macro content, they read the blogs, they watch the videos, and they get onto your website, and then it's not obvious or is limited to how they can give you that money, and that's by making sure your services are available for people to explore. Is there any other, I'm struggling now.
So it's the call to action.
Yeah, I know why I'm struggling, but I didn't want to admit it, but I'd had a beer already today.
Had a beer today.
It's our middle child's birthday. We were at a kid's party and we went, we've got to run upstairs for a live stream. And I'd already done a beer. So.
But no, it is that call to action though, but be it on your website, on your blog, or even as simple as your YouTube video, and that you're using, and it's making sure it's optimized, but also if they're on any platform, be it YouTube, Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook, allowing them to get to your website and have that opportunity for you to be able to sell to them. So with our YouTube channel, as example, if you look at any single standalone video, you'll have the description, the optimized description. We like a bit of optimization, a bit of keywords, you know what we like. But at the bottom of it, we'll always have our membership details, buy me a coffee link, find out more about our affiliate links here, and then anywhere else you can find us on the internet, and allowing that opportunity to get off that platform and find out more about you. We have a great example of someone who joined the Digital Circus a couple of months ago. She started on a LinkedIn post. She saw us and she thought we were okay, fantastic. She moved to Instagram, even better. She moved to Instagram. So again, debunking the myth that people stay on one platform. People do move. We all have these accounts and we all do move around them.
Omnichannel always.
She watched one of our IGTV videos and thought, oh, that's a interesting video. We gave him an opportunity to find out more about our back catalogue on our YouTube channel. And then she binge watched our entire YouTube channel and all of the videos, to then go through those links and then join the Digital Circus. We'd never even had
She bought us a coffee en route.
She hadn't even had a conversation with us before so she was joining, but she'd spend that time absorbing that content, moving around, and we gave her opportunity to buy from us without even having to go, let's have a discovery call, let's do this. It just happened that because she was finding out more and more about what the company was and what her problem was, and we were giving her that solution there, and it kind of married up.
It was quite funny because bit by bit she started interacting more with us, and at first it's like, who's this woman who keeps chatting to us? And then you just dawns on you that they're moving around like your stuff, and you go, okay, and you start chatting back, and then they become clients, and that happened while we were asleep for the sake of this conversation. But we gave her the opportunity to move around our ecosystem with a website at the middle, and and an opportunity for her to buy.
Yeah, I think call to actions are so important as well. And like, even once we have someone on our email list and we're sending out our weekly emails, I will still every so often in a weekly email mention that, you can go and check us out on Instagram or Facebook if you want to watch videos that are helpful around this, that, and the other, because they can get to know us a little bit through a written email, but it's much better, obviously, if they're watching us talk about what we do and they can see that we really know what we talk about and get more of a sense of who we are as people, so that then hopefully they'll want to buy. And on our social media, there are the links through to our website, the options to go and have a look at our products and this, that, and the other. So yeah, it is really, really important to do that. Even though our goal is always to get people on our email list, I always think it's good to send them back out again to have a look at us and see what we're doing elsewhere as well.
Yeah, totally.
So yeah, that linking around and giving them a journey is key.
Yeah, I think we've talked about email, haven't we? I think it's so important. We weren't disagreeing, but we were coming at it from two sides, and I like it when someone disagrees or puts an opposing thought in, because it makes me think, it makes me rethink and clarify our thoughts. And I'd come to the decision they were wrong, which is kind of gloss over that part. But because the point of the email for me is, once again, they've chosen to do it. And unlike social media, when you're battling with everyone else, in an email, exactly as you said, is an opportunity to send them to other places to add as much value as possible. But it's sat there in that inbox. And if they open it when you get your title right, then they are going to, for an element of time, only be consumed by us. And I don't mean that in a funny way. I mean that in a fantastic way as a business. But if you can get someone's attention for a period of time, then that's amazing. That is absolutely amazing.
Absolutely. And very well, we've got about 5 minutes left, and we have got live viewers certainly on Instagram. I don't have eyes on Facebook and LinkedIn.
On Instagram. LinkedIn, Facebook.
Cool. So if anyone is watching live, if you have any questions or you have any experiences or anything you'd like to add to the conversation, please do put it in the comments. I did see a comment earlier, but I think that was about the alpacas.
Yes,
it was. How Sarah's alpacas were. She said they're dusty and warm.
Oh,
yeah. Sarah's just put a fab blog out about pregnant alpacas. So if you've ever wanted to know about pregnant alpacas, go and check out Candleford Cottage, Candleford Alpacas, and give that blog a read.
Oh, look at you giving a little shout out there.
That was impressive. And if anyone just literally joined as you were saying that, they will be wondering why you're mentioning that on a live about getting your digital content.
Everyone loves alpacas, right?
Hands up, who loves alpacas?
I do. There are some in a field just down the road from us, and that was one of our lockdown.
Of the nation love alpacas, based on our research.
How could you not love a cuddle? They're so cute.
Yeah, they're cute. That's one of our lockdown walks, was to go and have a look at the alpacas and walk back again. Sarah's saying thank you for the shout out. Everyone said, hands up. Yeah, people are loving the alpacas.
Ricky's saying, hey.
Hey, Ricky.
But yes, alpacas very popular. Nothing to do with digital content.
Yeah, and that's why we should.
You can make it about digital content.
You can make a lot of digital content about alpacas. In fact, I have put photos of alpacas on our Instagram and Facebook before, let's be honest.
So we did a cake challenge. We proved recently that if you put a picture up of a cake, your engagement goes through the roof. So new challenge, and this is a fact, new challenge, everyone needs to find the nearest alpacas and llamas, right? So we've all got them near us.
We've all got them.
Everyone in the nation has common as muck. So you got to find your nearest and put a picture up of you like pointing at the nearest alpaca or llama and see if your engagement goes up. Who cares if it's about what you sell? And if you've got a curated grid, then it becomes a problem. So.
Yes. we live in a village, and there are 2 play fields in our village that have different alpacas in. That's probably too many alpacas per person in the village. It's a high alpaca population.
Can there be too many alpacas?
I feel like this conversation's taken a turn.
#alpacagate. Yeah.
But there don't seem to be any questions. That's what I've just carried on. I was just filling to give people time to type. But there are no questions. So and no one's adding in any other comments. So they obviously feel that our examples and stories are excellent. Yes, absolutely. So I feel that we should round up and let you get back to your son's birthday party that is going on downstairs without you. I'm assuming other adults are present.
No, they're completely feral.
We've left the 3-year-old in charge. Everything's fine. Now, this is so geeky. I know other people have arrived because I've had a notification saying new devices have joined our Wi-Fi. How geeky is that? So I know people have arrived whilst we've
just
been
hope you know them.
Well, they need to have connected it to it previously.
Oh, that's all right then.
Emily's family.
Okay.
Sorry. Best behaviour now. I have to brush my hair and everything. Right, sorry.
Your hair looks fine. It's fine.
No, that side looks terrible.
Have
that
you
bit looks
seen
all right.
this?
Tahita has just put great info. Thanks. What absolute pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for watching.
We will let you go back to the birthday party, and we should go and supervise our children as well. So have a lovely rest of the birthday party. Have a fab week, everybody who is watching. Thank you for joining us live. If you are watching on replay and you have any questions, do pop them in the comments. We can keep an eye on them and come back and answer them afterwards.
Sorry, for anyone who hasn't watched any of the series at all, they are now on YouTube. So if you want to go back and replay any of them, feel free to go and find them out.
Yeah,
absolutely. And they're all in our IGTV as well, if people want to watch them on there, if you're on Instagram. So have a fab week. Thank you very much, Emily and Alan, for joining us.
We've loved it.
Live stream friends.
Live stream friends.
We'll have to sort out another bunch of topics as well.
We'll have to do more 100%. In the future, definitely. And and have a good summer if we don't see you before the end of summer. See you on the other side 6 weeks time when we're all frazzled. Right, take care everybody, have a good week, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Yes, Laura, I'm old now, I don't drink much. Yes.